Hey, we at Southern Fried Philosophy want to say thank you to our sponsors of this episode. Thank you to Watchman Cigars, 1812 Barbecue, Web Mariah's website design, and Bad Mother Smokers. Without you, this episode wouldn't happen. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where two guys take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, and you, the listener, are getting a degree in common sense. We are broadcasting from the ERI studio right here in beautiful, historic Concord, North Carolina. I'll be your host, Biggin, and how about you? We've got a great show lined up for you, as always, but before we begin, let me introduce you to the second half of this flaky biscuit. That's right, I am talking about the pride of Anderson, South Carolina, but most of you probably know him best as the Silver Tongue one, 2016's Honorable Mention Father of the Year, the inventor of the Redneck Egg Roll. Give it up on old mic number one. It's Mojo!
Hey, man, it's good to have you back, buddy.
Hey, man, I missed you.
Yeah. We obviously didn't have you last week, so me and Brian struggled through the show. Yeah.
No, you did great. I was so proud of you.
It's a different flavor.
It was like I was watching my two little boys, playing high school football. And I was like, I'm so proud of them. Ooh, he just got tackled.
That's awful sweet of you. So hopefully we didn't scare any listeners away. So we had a little bit of unleashed. But anyway, hey, thanks. We appreciate you guys tuning in as always. If you can, go to the Southern Fried website at southernfriedphilosophy.com. Also, our Facebook page is Southern Fried Philosophy. Go to SFP Radio on the Twitters. Instagram, and you can also find us on Patreon at patreon.com/SFP Radio. Most importantly, wherever you listen to your podcast at, just hit the subscribe button. That's all you got to do.
I dare you.
Do a review, give us a like, share your favorite episodes. We really appreciate all the new listeners that we got coming through.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't kept track. In fact, on this our new podcast aggregate, I'm not even sure how to even find where they're at. But
I think if I were to go back and look, we are the number one podcast in Concord, North Carolina.
Hey, that's pretty big. We're big in Concord.
I'm just making that up, but it could be.
You know what? 97% of stats are made up on the fly anyway, so that's all right. But hey, we appreciate you guys tuning in, and just check us out on there. Like I said, most important, just get that podcast.
Do it.
Go there, just subscribe. But yeah, we appreciate it, man. We've seen a little bit of growth here, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
We can, that way we can keep fired up and continue to get some great guests. And I think you're gonna really enjoy our guest tonight. And but here we go.
Hey, also, if you want, for this episode only, if you go to States Vegas, if you search States Vegas Radio on your Google Play or iTunes app aggregate, whatever that is, and search that, use promo code Mojo, and you can get the app for free. You can listen to us at 6 p.m. on Friday and 4 p.m. on Friday, and just listen to some good music there. Also, again, please, if you want to support the show, we're begging you, go to patreon.com/SFP Radio, and you yourself can be a Patreon subscriber and be part of the SFP family. That you will get extra content, exclusive benefits, and some really cool merch. So we ask you to please join our Patreon list of subscribers. We want to say shouts out to our new listeners from Syracuse, New York, St. Louis, Missouri, and Sweden. Again, brought to you by the letter S.
So I know in St. Louis you have your favorite pizza joint there.
Oh, I love me some Emo's Pizza. Emo's Pizza.
They cut it in the squares.
Use Provel cheese. I love it. And a friend of ours, Daniel Charlton, who will listen to the show, he doesn't like it, but I love it. It's incredible. You look stumped, Producer Brian.
Well, I mean, it's new pizza, so I'm curious. I wanted to know more.
Yeah, so obviously. It's thin crust. It's going to be a thin crust, obviously circle. You're not doing the square. But it's really crispy. And I know that sounds odd, but sometimes you can get
like
a limp thin crust.
I get the Domino's thin crust.
Yeah,
like
but it's a Provel cheese, which is completely different than the mozzarella.
Like Provel cheese?
Provel is a combination of provolone and mozzarella. So it's a little bit different. I mean,
So there's genetic engineering involved.
Probably.
Well, you get the actual more caramelization of the cheese, like it will brown.
Ooh.
You get a little bit of the extra bubbles in it.
Mhm.
You get also a little bit extra saltiness because the provolone is aged, so you get a little more saltiness to it too. So it's actually there's quite a few places that actually do that. They'll do a mix, but it's not the Provel. They'll actually grind like a block of provolone and then a block of mozzarella, and do the old magic mixing. Yeah.
So are there listeners in St. Louis that can like mail some pizza to me? 'Cause
So
really need to
I would
try this.
legitimately,
That's not a bad idea.
they will ship it to you.
Oh,
You can get pizza shipped to you. The shipping, though, is twice as much as the actual pizza, and that's the problem.
Yeah, see, I want to do that with Lou Malnati's out of Chicago. Maybe we could do that and actually do like a side by side
You
taste
can't.
test.
You can't.
We got to.
It's going to be apples and oranges. You can't do deep dish versus crispy. Thin crust. You can't. It's impossible.
I beg to differ.
it's possible. It's probably. I mean, it's pointless, but it's possible.
It's pointless. You're right.
I'm down.
try it.
Yeah, I'm down for the challenge. That's all I got to say.
All right, so I'm going to ask you like I ask you every week, Mojo, how you be darn?
I'm all right. So got some big news, hopefully from both parties here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and
I'm not going to steal your thunder, but you said I was out in Iraq last week.
Right.
That was not the case, to be clear.
Well, I when you go missing in action like that,
Right.
we just automatically assume that you got your CIA clearance back, and they shipped you out somewhere.
I would look at a sand dune, and be like, I quit. I'm going back home. Sorry, I don't mean to steal your thunder. Go back to you.
No, yeah. Give us a couple weeks and a couple episodes. I think we'll probably have some big news on both sides of the table here, and pretty exciting changes in this season of our life, and just looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So but just everything's going good so far. I mean,
Nice.
School just started back. You got to fight the traffic to get there to drop the kids off, because I got one kid who purposely misses the bus in the mornings because she doesn't want to ride with all the bus riders, and then the other kid, you got I'm guilty of it. You got every parent who wants to drop their kid off at elementary school. So I'm right there in the mix and the throw of things, and it's just bad traffic.
Sure.
Of course, you got two officer friendlies there who, I guess they have no action there, so they love to just harass you in the parking lot. So that's awesome too. But that's pretty much it.
Are they dog sniffing lunch boxes?
No, they're trying to corral us parents coming in and out of the zone there, and they just they I don't know, they got the mean mug thing going on, and they got that typical glasses a cop wears. It's like this. They must have that one issue Oakley that all cops have to wear. Look like Billy Badass, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you remember Chips? They all had the same glasses.
Yeah,
I love that show, Chips.
Yeah, I did too.
I would eat chips watching Chips, and that was heaven.
I did too. I eat the chips with government cheese on them. I told you my fascination with that.
Yeah. No, you like that. You like that government cheese.
Yeah, that's probably the reason why I had some intestinal problems later on in life, because basically it's just formed plastic with some type of enhancement that makes it taste like some type of cheese. But
I've heard good things about the government cheese.
Yeah, obviously I don't think they make it anymore, but it'd be interesting to. It probably had a shelf life of 40 years. So if there's a listener out there that happens to have a block a block of government cheese out there, I'm willing to pay for it just for us to try it.
That'd be fun. Yesterday we got to go experience the new brewery that opened up here in downtown Concord, North Carolina, and called Southern Strain Brewing. And we got to go for media. We got, quote, media passes.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And it was just for media. And I use that term loosely because we're not very media-like. But Ford invited us out there. And, man, what a phenomenal experience. The beer was fantastic. The facilities were obviously they're spotless because they just opened. And I think they'll continue to be spotless. But perfect room, places to sit, places to hang out, places to play games. It's all over the map. Good, comfortable seating. I like to refer to it as FKF friendly. That's fat kid friendly. So there's good, comfortable seating for fat people because we need a little extra. It's not the tiny seats where it hurts.
Are they easy to get out of the chairs?
Yeah, easy to get in, easy to get out. They have highs, lows, all kinds of different seating. all kinds of games and whatnot. So, and again, I go back to the beer. Every one of them was spot on.
Yeah.
It was so good. So good.
Yeah, going back, man, once again, what a beautiful facility.
Yeah.
Now, I know this has been a labor of love for those guys because they've probably have been working on this project for a couple of years now. And, I mean, opening a brewery is, number one, it's not a time-friendly type of business you want to open because there's so many permits, federal, state, just county, city write-offs. And then you got to do the construction. And it is not cheap to renovate a historical building that probably has some dilapidation going on, but also just the equipment costs. I mean, so these guys have spent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and capital to get this place open. And the fruits of their labor was definitely shown on from everything from the painting to the walls to the floor to the historical accoutrements as far as furniture that they acquired. I mean, it's definitely gorgeous. I mean, and the beer, like you said, the beer was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
some rappers might say from the windows to the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And you mentioned it as like a historical. I think it was a mill at one point. Maybe that's what it is.
I'm sure it was because we're heavy
in the mill section.
Mills here. Yeah.
But it was most of it was reclaimed wood that they found in the area. They have some awesome pieces of furniture that were theirs that was reclaimed.
Yeah.
Really cool, just facility, historic, but yet still new. A nod to the science, but it wasn't shoving it in your face. So it was a fantastic experience.
I think they're going to do big things for Concord.
Yeah.
Cabarrus County Brewing as far as on the map. But, the beautiful thing that these guys do that I would love to see more in so many other industries is this whole collaboration thing over competition, this whole we're all in the same community. So if you come in and can increase traffic for your brewery, it'll probably increase traffic for our brewery. So they love the competition. Competition's healthy. So
no
I really admire that about that industry.
Yeah, very cool. Also, I'm gearing up for college football. When this episode airs, we will have gone through our first week of college football. You say you're not a big college football person?
I have
Zero.
I have no true team I follow. I have the ones that I watch, based on, the college bowls or whatever, but I have nothing. Now, college basketball, oh yeah. But college football,
I can care less.
I can care less.
Producer Brian, where are you at on any of that?
Not a college football guy.
Really?
Yeah,
No.
it was NFL all the way.
Huh.
I think it's because, like, in my early 20s, I always worked on Saturdays, so I never got to watch any games. I just never, like, Sunday was my day off, so that's what I watched was the football on Sunday, and that's kind of.
Who do you pull for on your pro team?
I'm a San Francisco 49er fan.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. How did that come about?
You can blame Joe Montana.
Okay.
Probably, it's pre-Carolina Panthers. I grew up here, but we didn't have an NFL team until 95, I feel like.
But did you play Super Tecmo Bowl?
No, I didn't.
No. I love that game.
Madden. I played
doubt.
Madden and the Blitz.
Yeah.
It was fun.
The NFL Blitz.
Yeah, I got the Steve Young, Jerry Rice thing, and the last 49er Super Bowl captivated my young mind. And
so for you, it was 49ers, and it wasn't the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, basically, yeah. I hate the Cowboys.
Yeah, if you're going to follow, I would think like Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Dion. I don't know. There's such a big draw.
That never crossed my mind as a.
Yeah, that's fine.
It stuck. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's amazing how you latch on to teams.
Yeah. Listen, I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. Like, we've been good like 2 years and that since the history. So whatever.
You're probably the first admitted Jacksonville.
I get that.
I've never
Jaguar.
heard that before in my entire life.
I get that very frequently.
It's just like, hey, I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan. I mean, how often do you hear that?
Right.
You'll have people that are diehard Brown fans.
Sure.
They haven't won a Super Bowl since 1867, right after the Civil War ended. But they're still diehard fans. But you never hear Bengal fans. I never hear much from Jacksonville Jaguar fans. I never hear much from. There's a handful of other teams out there.
Yeah. So how you be doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I actually observed some interesting social behavior today.
Oh,
so
do tell.
So I'm working. I'm a freelance guy. So I was working in a coffee shop because that's what you do when you don't have an office.
Sure.
And I sat down this afternoon. It's over here in Concord, over by the mall. And I sit down, I open my laptop, and I kind of look up. And I actually took a sneak picture of this. I'm going to show you guys in a second.
Oh, no.
Table, kind of like, 4-top table. Two guys sitting there, but they're both sitting on the same side of the table.
Ooh.
There's like an iPad. And
Okay.
so I'm like, okay, that's an interesting setup.
Right.
Maybe they're both looking at the screen or something.
It was probably an Amway
That's
presentation.
what I was thinking. An Amway presentation.
I'll get to that. But yeah, so I'm sitting there for a while, like 20 minutes going, I can't concentrate. I'm like, these two dudes. And one of them's like a young, right out of college guy wearing a blazer with jeans and like a button up shirt, but it's like 3 buttons down. Open,
Oh, yeah.
Little fuzz in there, Like, okay. Another guy's like an old guy in a polo shirt, with a limp, apparently, later I figured out. But
Who's doing the presentation?
I'm not sure who's selling who what. Okay, first of all, because it's like they're talking about finance. I mean, I can kind of, I'm definitely eavesdropping.
Okay,
and they're talking about finance or something, but one of them has a Primerica shirt on.
Ooh, okay.
So essentially, if you're not familiar with Primerica, it's insurance.
Okay.
But it's like I can be own my own insurance.
It's a multi-level
company.
marketing.
It's multi-level marketing.
Okay.
It's the Amway of insurance.
Isn't all insurance multi-level marketing?
This is a little extra.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I actually got solicited by them at one point when I was looking for work.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want to own your own business?
Be your own boss.
Yeah, I do actually.
As a matter of fact, not that.
That's not how that works actually.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just. But eventually, another guy showed up and sat in the other seat. I was like, okay. But for like 30 minutes, I'm going, really?
This is a daddy fantasy for this guy or something?
And even after the other guy sat down, it didn't feel any less weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just...
Did the third guy sit on the same side?
No, he was in a different seat on the opposite side. So it it made it look right.
Okay,
basically, but he didn't show up for a long time. He was on the phone or something outside.
Well, he was smashing deals. He was.
He was the closer. He was the closer.
He was cashing checks and snapping necks out there. So in the business world. So.
Oh, so what eventually happened?
They agreed to another date, but that's the picture right there. I may end up putting this up somewhere. But look at that, just that posture, the body language there.
The posture.
Look at the body language there. I mean.
Oh yeah.
They're enjoying their conversation.
Right, oh, he's looking lovingly in his eyes. I see that.
So it just.
Actually, looks like he's asking him, is it pronounced croissant or croissant?
Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh. All right, so let's go into some wacky news brought to you by 1812 Barbecue. If you need a catering gig that has some of the best barbecue in North Carolina, check out our friends at 1812 Barbecue. All right, so I noticed this a couple of weeks ago. There are people that are leaving things everywhere for no random reason.
It's called littering, right?
You would think so.
Yeah, wow.
There's 3 stories that I kind of want to bring up. So the first one is a weird doll grips Missouri City. In Festus, Missouri, these eerie small little dolls start popping up all over this small little town. Some people think that it's funny, and other people think that it's not funny because if you're driving down the road, you may see a said doll, and the sheriff says, well, you might get locked onto it and then cause a traffic accident. Others, they're like hanging the dolls from like signs, from different buildings and whatnot. And some of them are realistic looking, and people get out of their car and go check at these little dolls. Who has got time to set up these dolls all over the town of Festus, Missouri? Like, what is going on over there?
In my best 1987 memory bank, Robert Stack from Unsolved Mysteries is probably accusing the saint worshipers right now.
They probably are. I love that.
Yeah, I look at the pictures in this video. It's creepy.
It is.
Sorry.
They are creepy.
Like you see like legs sticking out behind a dumpster. This one doesn't have a head.
Wow.
Right.
And this is where?
In Festus, Missouri.
Right near Emos. I don't know.
Wasn't that one of the uncle from?
Uncle Festus. You're right.
Festus or Fester? What was the?
I think it was Festus. Oh,
I don't think it's Festure.
So, all right. So in Missouri City, they are leaving dolls. In Virginia, in Henrico County, Virginia, a man is dressed up with a old tube set TV on his head. I'm assuming it's been all hollowed out, so he's not actually carrying parts and whatnot.
Not the
on
Headless
the TV.
Horseman. It's like,
right, yeah. But he's got this old tube set TV on his head, walking around and dropping off other tube set TVs on people's front porches just randomly around the town.
I wonder if that's some type of guerrilla marketing thing or just a weird hobby.
But what would you do with old tube set TVs? Nobody uses those anymore. And they go from like, small ones to big ones to whatever.
I think the funny thing is actually going on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist and seeing people trying to sell them for like $25 a pop.
Sure.
Yeah, come on, guy.
I mean, people just wake up, they open their front porch, and they see a TV just laying there.
First off, I would check and see if there's a Popeye's chicken sandwich in there, just in case it's a weird promotional item. So,
but it's not illegal. The guy's just dropping off a TV. The police can't do anything. But how random and weird is that?
Yeah, well, I wonder if you could put like a no trespassing sign or something that would actually remedy that.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But it's late at night.
Yeah.
People don't know. He's getting caught on like the Ring doorbell cameras.
It's not illegal to leave unwanted appliances on someo's porch.
Evidently, we haven't thought of that law yet.
Dryer or a washing machine. I don't want this. I'm giving this guy.
I got to beg to differ. There's got to be some law out there, and also, our resident plumber Kurt.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see someone try that on his front thing because he's got the whole ring set up. Basically, if I blink across the street, he can tell I'm blinking. So
watch out.
Yeah, that would not be a wise move on a person's
Don't blink
part.
too much. People think that it's just funny. The guy's just leaving. But if you got the TV, what do you do with it? Do you just like end up throwing it in the trash?
I call Radio Shack. Oh, never mind. They're closed.
Can you even use those TVs? Like if you're on the modern cable system, what do you plug it into? They have, I guess, a converter
you
or
definitely
something.
can put your Amazon Fire Stick
You
on
can't
it.
watch Netflix on there, right?
Yeah. But one, where is he getting them? And then what do you do when you do get them? It's just...
He probably inherited a TV repair store from his passed away grandfather and is trying to liquidate inventory. That's the only way he can do it.
The 1812 barbecue story started over 20 years ago when Eric and his dad started entering local barbecue competitions for fun. During that time, Eric, a United States Marine, has traveled all over the world picking up flavors and techniques that today is the unique flavor of the award-winning 1812 barbecue. He has honed his craft to bring you the fall-off-the-bone pulled pork, the mouth-watering ribs, and finely crafted beef brisket. Eric has developed his own amazing dry rub and delicious barbecue sauce. And let's not forget those sides, with the coleslaw, smoked Gouda mac and cheese, cowboy baked beans, and to top it all off, banana pudding and pecan pie for dessert. Getting hungry yet? Good. Call or email Eric at 1812 Barbecue, and he can make your next catered meal happen. Weddings, graduation parties, family reunions, and other events will be memorable with 1812 Barbecue. Want to try your hand at smoking meats? Pick up your own 1812 dry rub and start the journey for yourself. Shipping all over the world, connect with Eric on his Facebook page, Instagram at 1812 Barbecue, or call 704-604-5148. That's 704-604-5148. And email Eric at eric.line@1812bbq.com, and he will be glad to help. All right. And then the third thing is there is a gentleman, I'll use that term loosely, in Lower Manhattan. He just decides he's going to go down the subway and just hang out and throw rice cookers down the subway in Manhattan. There's nothing in them. They're not doing anything, but he just puts a rice cooker in the subway and just walks away. For no reason. There's nothing in the rice cooker. It's not a bomb or anything else like that.
Does he say like something like walk and roll, ha ha ha, ha and throws them down?
But why? Why are people just leaving stuff?
See, I think it's a conspiracy. I think these people, the dolls, the TV guy, and obviously Mr. Walk and Roll, probably have some kind of conspiracy on 4chan or Reddit to do this. There's got to be something.
So you think that there's a conspiracy? Just find something random and just put it out there.
You know, there's probably find something random challenge out there that everyone's trying to, document.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. Probably doing a rice cooker in the subway in New York isn't the smartest idea.
Oh, no.
Right? Like,
no.
Oh, wait, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he got in trouble by the
they were like
popos.
stolen, and they thought they were getting Instant Pots. And they're like, oh, man, what am I going to do with a rice cooker? So he's like dumping them.
This is the third Instant Pot I got, and it's still a rice cooker. Oh, darn you, Amazon returns. I just think it's weird that people are leaving things out there.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, so we've got to go to our fantastic Florida man, but actually this is a Massachusetts man. He decides to spark his family home's roof last week by getting rid of a hornet's nest. How did he do it? He used a Roman candle. So David Schmida of Stuberidge tried using Raid to get the hornet's nest, but he said that was too far away and it didn't work. So he decides he's going to use a Roman candle to light that sucker up. While he's shooting it at the top of his roof where the nest is, it catches fire.
Wow.
It starts to burn his house down. I thought that was pretty funny.
We have seen this many times before. It's like, where's the shock at? I mean, like we've seen this happen with the fryers, the gas grills. Anytime you do something around, wood and dried leaves and combustible material,
sure,
this happens.
I like his ingenuity of what do I have in my garage that can shoot that far up there and knock this thing out. But maybe think about what's going to happen when that Roman candle hits said hornet's nest.
Well, I mean, those things are made of, pretty much pulverized wood pulp, so it's combustible too.
It's not really a marksman type situation. Like they don't ever shoot the same direction twice. So even if you practice one time, it's not going to go the way you think it is.
It would have been cooler if he went and found that boomerang that he bought for no purpose. And used a boomerang. That would have been pretty awesome.
So have you seen? There's a YouTube video a while back. That guy used a drone to get a hornet's nest.
Oh,
the hornets smart. Brought down the drone.
No,
like they did something like they killed that thing. Basically, yeah. So,
wow.
Was it? And it was hornet.
It was It was. I want to say hornets or I can't tell. They're all like hornets to me.
Yeah, I did see because of the foster kid being obsessed with snakes and insects. We did see where there's some wasps, hornets, or something that have the group mindset. I think it was the African bee. That
the hive mind.
Yeah. They have the hive mind and they go after people. So maybe it was the African bee.
That's also pretty true of pretty much anybody who's a Democrat voter.
If I remember, this has something to do with the sound it was making too. Was like attracting. They thought it was a threat.
Yeah,
probably like a frequency thing. Yeah.
Wow. Ooh, snap! It's like the 5G to us. How about you?
Expensive hornet rid.
Actually, speaking of 5G, there's actually a John Cusack movie. Now, I know he was like the darling of the 80s movies.
I like John Cusack.
He gets kind of a bad rap. He's kind of up there with Nick Cage, and, the straight-to-DVD movies. But there was a straight-to-DVD movie called, I think it was called The Tower or The Cell, and John Cusack was in it. And basically, it was how cell phone technology, kind of like a 5G, just like, went off the AI or went off the radar, and then just people started doing this hive mind. So
when was that made? Do you remember? Was that recent or
probably within the last 5 years? Because it also had
Reese Witherspoon.
No,
making things up.
No, man, I think it had Samuel Jackson in the thing.
Well, he's in everything. That doesn't count.
No.
So you've seen this obscure movie, but you haven't seen The Lion King.
We still got to work on that. Well, I can't.
But see, I'm holding off on it though.
Yeah, we got to do this together. Listen, we'll have plenty of time coming up where we can just sit around and watch movies. We'll do it then.
Oh, hold on, this is gonna burn me. I gotta find this John Cusack character here. So hold on. So the movie's called The Cell.
Okay.
It was made in 2016, and it has Samuel L. Jackson in it.
Oh, you were right.
I can't believe it.
No Reese Witherspoon, though.
I'm surprised she wasn't in it.
I mean, anything. All right, so we're going to go to our hot topics brought to you by Watchman Cigars. If you want a fantastic cigar at a reasonable price, check out our friends at Watchman Cigars. That's Watchman Cigars, or check out the sponsor section of our website. The views and opinions of Southern Fried Philosophy are not necessarily those of our guests, sponsors, or friends of the show, but they should be. So I thought this was interesting. Several weeks ago, we had our friend Coop from the 773 Foundation, and he brought in the Tesla. I drove the Tesla around, and it had so much power for an electric car. I was blown away, and I was shocked.
You can't even say power.
It was a rocket.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
I'll give you that.
It's an experience like you hear about the torque power, the off the line power that a Tesla has, until you actually experience it. I mean, I drive a diesel truck, so there's no such thing as quick takeoff.
Mm-hmm,
you know,
sure,
but
a lot like my love life.
There's no landing. There's a lot of takeoff, just crash and burn landings. But so just describe that torque and that immediate power that you get in a Tesla is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So I did run across this article, and I thought it was quite interesting. Tesla is touted as a zero emissions car by the government regulators.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, in reality, it results in more carbon dioxide than a diesel powered car, to a recent study.
Just in the recharge, right?
No, it's talking about where the car is made.
Right.
So manufacturing processes.
More of the manufacturing is in China. China uses 65% coal. U.S. uses 25% coal. The batteries that also is made also in China, also using, again, the 65% coal. But even the recharging in the stations and whatnot of that makes it even more of a CO2 emitter than a diesel-powered car. Can you believe that?
And I think we're starting to see also that, for example, just I'm not sure if they calculated this in either, but the sheer manpower, moving equipment, CO2 emitted by that just to reclaim the materials to make a battery is ridiculous. I mean, you're moving so much soil just to get down to get to these, I guess, lithium and things like that. Just kind of like the cell phones. You know, cell phone has a certain metal in it. I can't remember the name of that metal now, but, you know, they have to literally uproot jungles and forests and sides of mountains just to reclaim what cobalt.
Batteries are really bad.
Yeah.
For the making them, you can't recycle them. They're just awful. So these electric cars, essentially, you know, they're not eco.
They're not. It's one of those things like, it's like Wizard of Oz. Everything looks pretty, but man, once you see behind the curtain, you kind of see the whole story.
Yeah.
And we're not going to see that, you know.
No.
And look, I admire the Tesla ingenuity and the Tesla technology, but as always, there's got to be something that's way better to do that. I mean, I don't know if it's strictly upfitting them with solar panels or something, or, you know, powered by farts. I mean, whatever it is.
What they're saying is really the key. If you're going to go with as little emissions as possible, hydrogen is the way that it needs to go.
Yeah, and all you do is get like a little water vapor from it.
So the Tesla Model 3 is responsible for 156 to 181 grams of CO2 per kilometer, compared to 141 grams of the diesel-powered Mercedes C22D. That includes the emissions from producing diesel fuel.
Wow.
How about you?
There you
Might
go.
as well just drive a diesel.
So evidently my diesel's
Attaboy.
Yeah.
You love the environment, don't you? You're just hugging Mother Earth.
Evidently I'm a planet hugger. Yeah,
you love Mother Earth.
About to go get my grassy bra and patchouli oil.
If you are in the market for a high-quality cigar for a very reasonable price, you must check out Watchman Cigars. Watchman Cigars is a family-owned business that puts the customer first with the best customer service in the business. Watchman Cigars offers the Habano for a full, spicy flavor, the Connecticut for a mild, easy-to-smoke option, and the Maduro for a strong, powerful experience. They even do specialty blends and partner with you to provide a custom exclusive line just for you. Watchman Cigars has all your cigar needs. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Watchman Cigars 1991 or email Leon directly at watchman_cigars@yahoo.com. That's watchman_cigars@yahoo.com, or check out the sponsors section of our website. Speaking of burning down forests.
Yeah, well, if you've been out there hiding, I'll kind of keep you up to date. So there's been this forest fire in the Amazon, and
Where's Smokey the Bear when you need him? I'm just saying.
Now this fire has been going on for several months now, and part of it is the increased competition in the beef market, pig market in Brazil. Okay, so the government has encouraged farming to feed its citizens. Therefore, they're reclaiming some of this forest to create more pasture land for animals, said animals. So these pictures of the forest fire have just made their rounds on the internet now. So we have the international community getting upset. Mm-hmm. So, if you read American papers that, this is the end of the world,
sure. We got 12 years left.
Yeah. Many of the movie stars and,
Leonardo DiCaprio is pretty upset about it.
Yeah. Environmental, these environmental scientists like Leonardo DiCaprio and Lady Gaga.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. Lady Gaga and all these other celebs out there that are they're reposting these tweets talking about, number one, the photos they're reposting right now. One of them was in Montana. One of them was a fire in the desert because there's elephants. There's no elephants in Brazil. So they're reposting these pictures. And some of them are as old as 2009.
Oh, wow.
So, but they're constantly reposting. Also, the big thing was that the Amazon has been referred to as the lungs of the earth.
Yep.
Have you heard that term?
Heard that term.
I remember that term being used around in middle school, but actually it's not. There's a thing called respiratory action in the forest where, Amazon does emit a lot of oxygen, but also it actually sucks in a lot of oxygen due to the natural processes of these plants and the photosynthesis that actually burns up a lot of oxygen.
Yep.
So this whole myth of the lungs of the earth is actually a load of Decrapprio. And
see what you did there.
Like I'll weave that. But so actually, it's a bunch of crap.
So there's a TV show that I saw, and it actually was narrated by Will Smith. And that was really the only reason why I decided to watch it. But it was actually really cool. And it talked about the earth, it talked about different things that's unique to nature. And he said 95% of the Amazon oxygen, or the oxygen that's produced by the Amazon, is actually used back from all the animals that live in the Amazon forest in the trees. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I've been watching some of those Planet Earth shows, and they all talk about, yes, there's some pollution issues or something. Sure. But there's more than just the rainforest contributing to that. And sometimes, I watched a documentary on, I think, Yosemite a couple years ago, and burning of that is a natural thing. Yeah. It clears out the underbrush and makes room for new growth. Yeah. So it's a healthy. Yeah. And a lot of the National Forest Service will do controlled burns all the time to clear out that sort of thing. Yep. And I've backpacked through sections of burned forests, and it's green underneath. So it can be a healthy, rejuvenating thing. Yeah. So, well, anyway, it's interesting. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we have our special guest, Jeffrey Amendola. He has no relation to Danny Amendola. I just figured that out. All right, we'll be back. You're listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Hey, everybody. I really do hope you love Southern Fried Philosophy. Did you know that you can actually get paid for listening to this podcast? I know it sounds insane, but it's true. We just discovered this free new app called Podcoin, and it literally pays you to listen to podcasts. Here's how it works. You listen to podcasts, and you earn Podcoin while you listen. Then you turn that Podcoin into gift cards like places like Amazon or Starbucks. Or if you're a good person, you can even donate that Podcoin to charity. The more you listen, the more you earn. So here's what you do. Download the app right now on iPhone or Android, and I have a special code for you. Simply use our code Southern Fried, and you'll get 300 Podcoin just for signing up. And if you listen enough to us on there, you can get a cappuccino at Starbucks or an Amazon gift card on us. So go ahead and go listen to this podcast or virtually any podcast on Podcoin and sign up with code Southern Fried. It'll change the way you listen to podcasts.
All right, welcome back to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Today's episode, we have on Jeffrey Amendola, who is the founder of Amendola Family Cigars. You can find them at AmendolaCigars.com. That is AMEN DOLA, Family Cigars. And he is caught my eye when we started kind of diving into the cigar community.
Mhm.
He just catching some of his Instagram posts, and I hate to say this, but you look like a sexy man with a cigar and a drink, on his Instagram posts. So, I
Sure.
started following the guy and reached out to him, and lo and behold, here we have him in studio in our first episode in our new studio. And so welcome to the show, Jeffrey.
Thanks, guys. Happy to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so you
I lured you in through my Instagram.
Yeah, evidently so. I was actually went through Instagram. I was lost in your eyes. So then I just kind of
Oh, buddy. Do we need to leave? Producer Brian and I can leave and leave you guys here?
Well, actually, more sticks for me. Go right ahead.
Careful. This is a family show.
Yeah, that's true. So let's just get started. Where did the idea to come up with cigars and all that come from?
Yeah, so it really started. I always had the idea of doing it when I was about 16, 17, 18 years old. Where I grew up in New York, there was a cigar factory in the Bronx. I grew up right outside in Rye, Westchester area, but we always used to go to this one neighborhood in New York to get fresh meats, deli, marketplace, and they had a cigar factory in there. I thought it was the coolest thing, just the culture, the tobacco. I'm like, seeing it was just captivating to me. Then as I grew up, I got a little older, moved around. We were living in Massachusetts at the time. Found another cigar roller up there. My brother-in-law took me to a cigar lounge, and there was a guy rolling cigars in there. I'm like, oh, it's like the guy in the Bronx, And in my mind, I thought this is what I want to do at some point. I thought it was going to be later on. But I ended up in North Carolina. Last minute decision. Followed a girl down here.
It always starts with a girl, right?
Yep. And I got here. I actually got hired with the Durham Police Department. I don't know if you guys knew that. When I got here, I started the police academy in Durham. So
did you have the guy that can make all the noises with his mouth, like
off Winslow from
Winslow from Police Academy?
Oh yeah, Police Academy.
Remember that guy?
Yeah, we had a few of those. Yeah, so I was on the weekends. I was looking for something to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't find the cigar culture where I was, like I had up north.
Mm-hmm.
There were no factories. There was maybe one lounge I found, but not really that culture that I was looking for. So I had this brilliant idea of going back to New York when I had some time. I talked to the guys in the Bronx, and I was like, hey, can you make me 100 cigars? Like, I think I could sell them. And I started doing these pop-up cigar events at cigar-friendly restaurants, bars, all the police guys, everyone in the academy. I'm like, hey, we're having a cigar party.
Nice.
And I started selling, and that became my little, like, alter ego, was like the cigar boss. Like, they all thought I was the cigar guy. And I was like, this could actually be a little side business, like a nice side hustle.
Yeah.
And I made it a legit business, I think 2011, which was more of just like an event type of business, pop-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And people started calling me for private parties and setting up a cigar table. And but at that point, I felt like I was being generic because I was getting cigars from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
They were okay. They weren't great, in my opinion, at the time. They were good. I was like, I think I should make my own. And then that's when I ventured out. I went to Tampa, Ybor City, on a whim, and I met a Cuban family there. And I said, listen, I have this like small pop-up event business, but I think I can make my own cigars. I think I know enough. I just need someone to teach me. And she invited me back. She said, pick 2 weeks, come back, I'll teach you everything.
Oh, wow.
I was her first student, and I did that. I did that twice in the year, and I brought that back to Durham and started a little mini factory there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Something we always talk about, man. Just small business.
Mm-hmm.
You find something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Something you love doing.
Yeah.
You see a need in the market, and you fill that void.
Yeah, that's what it was, really. I'm like, I want to recreate what, Miami has it. Oh, sorry. Tampa has it. New York, California has a little bit of it. And I wanted to give, like, the community I was in that same experience.
Yeah.
Right? So I did it very part-time. Actually, I tell people this. I'm like, well, I'm not going to get in trouble now, so it's okay. But it got to the point where I started. So we had a factory going. I had a cigar roller from the Dominican Republic. He was going to New York to look for work, and I intercepted him. And I asked him to stay in Durham, and he stayed. He taught me really how to blend and like really how to make a good product. So I was doing that very part-time, but it got to the point where the business was growing. I was driving around in my police car with cigars in the trunk because people on my squad, they'd call me, hey, Amendola brings cigars, blah, 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 night shift, 3 a.m.,
Yeah.
have a little break, want to smoke. Then I started getting wholesale accounts, and I'm like, how do I...
Your hobby becomes your job.
Right. So I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like,
Yeah.
this is bad, you know. I never let it, you know, take me away from my responsibilities, but I was double dipping. So
Yeah, no, I understand.
It got to the point where I had to make a decision. I was going through a lot at that time mentally. I was working a special victims unit as a detective. Had
Did
a
you
newborn.
ever meet Olivia Benson?
Yes.
Wow.
We worked together.
Of course.
You didn't see me?
No, man. Come on.
You
Don't pull
sleeping
my
on that.
leg. I must have fell asleep.
You did.
Because that's what I do. I'll watch and I'll have a fall asleep halfway
Yeah,
through.
I do too.
And if you watch too many of those, you start to feel creepy. Anybody? Like if you watch like 6 of them,
It's
I
creepy.
can't
Yeah.
watch that
it's sick
show.
you're
stuff.
like, yeah, no, okay.
It started like messing with me. I had a newborn son. I was, you know, it was just the right time to leave and pursue my passion, you know.
When you said you had to intercept your guy,
Yeah.
is that a legal thing? You can intercept him?
Yeah. On
Okay.
the 20-yard line.
Okay.
Yeah. It's great. That was funny. Actually, I called some of my buddies in New York and I was asking them, I was like, hey, do you know of any experienced rollers to help me? Like, I just learned how to do it, but I'm not good like them, you know?
Mhm.
Like, oh, we got this one guy who worked for Arturo Fuente. He's a supervisor at Davidoff. And he was like the man. Like, everybody knows him. They're like, why don't you try to get him to stop in North Carolina first? If you buy his ticket, he'll come.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I'll do that. Just set it up. Here's the ticket. Have him come. So instead of going to New York, he came to me. And I showed him what I had, showed him our tobacco, showed him the place. And I said, I would love for you to work with me and help me grow. I put him up in an apartment. He said, you know what? He's like, I love you as a brand. He's like, I love your passion. You're a good guy. So I'll dedicate 2 years to help you develop what we have now, basically.
Oh, wow.
I was like, great. So, yeah, put him up in an apartment. We started just cranking out cigars underneath a coffee shop on 9th Street in Durham.
Nice.
It was a thing. And then that developed into opening up a lounge because people were coming to look for us and they couldn't find us because we were like in a basement. And
I've actually been to that coffee shop when I went to a Duke game.
Did you really? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's cool. So we were like downstairs in the back. That was the start of it. And then we grew out of that into where I opened up a shop. There's an old house. Just recently sold it actually to, it's now Primo Cigars. But that's where we started. That's where we moved the factory to and opened up a lounge there.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it was cool.
Wow. I love small business stories and I love small business stories with things that interest me.
Yeah.
So just like how we were talking earlier about the craft beer movement in Cabarrus County, how that's kind of blossomed in the newest, latest edition. It's crazy to watch this new small batch cigar movement that's happening right now. And it's, if you haven't heard about it, you know, just there's probably, if you go on Facebook or Instagram, there is somebody near you in a city near you that has a small batch craft cigar company. And they might be doing a side hustle like Jeffrey here, but it's out there. And
It's becoming a thing.
Yeah.
It's like the beer.
It's like a boutique
It's
cigar.
boutique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
awesome though, man.
Yeah, I love it. I think some of the boutiques, honestly, coming out now are better than some of the mainstream
No, yeah.
brands because what happens is a lot of the mainstream brands that have been around, not all of them, but a chunk of them have been bought under one umbrella. Now they're mass producing. Now they're just, they don't have to sell the name. The name's already selling.
Yeah.
So they just mass produce. The quality drops. There's no personality in it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, with the boutique guys, like brands like me and some of the other ones, we're pretty much. Well, I don't know how they do it. I'm very hands on still. So the factory I'm at now, I partnered up with a factory in Honduras about 2 years ago. We grew out of the Durham thing. It just got very expensive.
Oh, wow.
It's hard getting tobacco, a lot of legalities with that. And we couldn't produce enough to supply the stores, which was always the goal.
Sure.
But as being a boutique brand, we're very in control of the tobacco, how it's being rolled. I do all my blending. I don't let anyone else do it. Like I'm going down there in October to talk to the rollers again and meet with the supervisors and just make sure like the tobacco's good. We double ferment all of our tobacco, which I think makes the tobacco cleaner. And you'll know when you smoke some of these, it's a clean smoke, if that makes sense. Sometimes you smoke a cigar and you get that nasty feeling or residue in your mouth.
Yeah.
I've noticed by the fermentation process we do, it's a cleaner smoke. And that really makes a difference.
So my old lady may kiss me afterwards, maybe.
Right.
There you go.
That's the key. Right. Can you explain what double fermenting means? Like to somebody that may not have a clue like myself.
Yeah. So the tobacco is, it's harvested, it's hung to dry, it's aged at the tobacco farm.
Okay.
They kind of have their own fermentation. It's in a hot room.
Enzymes and things like that.
Yeah, all the
bacteria,
oils,
yeast.
all the bacteria. Yep, all that is coming out, sweating. Then it's ready to go to the factories. So we buy from 3 or 4 different farmers. When our factory gets it, and this is what really impressed me, because I was still learning that process, but there's old secrets. Like, I don't even know them.
Sure.
I know of them.
Right.
But they still won't even tell me. Like, there's one room in the factory nobody can go into.
It's like the Illuminati room.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
On Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, it's buffet Friday. Yeah, I got you.
You cannot. It is like ancient recipes.
That's probably where they have the Popeye's chicken recipe.
That's exactly what it is.
And Hoffa.
And Hoffa. But what basically the tobacco it's a hot room again, but there are systems in place where there is a recipe of liquid molasses, rums, whatever that recipe is, and the tobacco just absorbs it and ages with it.
Holy cow.
So it pulls out these unique flavors. Tobacco is very absorbent.
Yeah.
So when you do that extra fermentation, it really kind of pulls and takes on all the different nuances that a tobacco leaf can have. So we do it twice, basically.
Wow. That's very cool.
It's crazy how the things that we enjoy, like bourbon, like we're enjoying a bourbon tonight, and just how basically when it starts out, it's basically just liquor or water. I mean, and you throw it in a barrel, you put it in a hot room, and you let the natural sugars of the wood and the heat and the enzymes and the bacteria and the yeast just do its magic, and bam, you have a product.
That's the same concept.
Yeah, it's crazy how tobacco is the same way.
Yep.
And granted, I know those are 2 taboos, and if we have any of the people that used to go to my church, home church, when growing up, I know it's a sin, but I'm telling you, it's amazing how the mysteries of nature can take a green leaf off of a plant, hang it, do this and do that, and bam, you got a magic product. It's just cool. I mean, but like you said, though, you have these guys, like I guarantee you, your batches of stuff, you probably have a guy that you in the cigar community that you probably know in your area that does some small batch, and his stuff is totally different. The whole process is totally different. On a side note, I have a neighborhood kid who rolls some terrific blunts if you need me to hook you up with a new roller.
You didn't bring any? That's another topic.
Yeah, for another day.
That's right.
But that's what makes, there's so many, some people look at cigars and, there's some reviewers and bloggers out there that they get really into like profiles and tasting notes, which you can do. But at the end of the day, it's leaf.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many cigars. So what really makes them different is little things like that, the fermentation, the blending, how clean it is, how dirty it is,
I wonder what cigars I've smoked that have been double fermented. That's not something that's been on the
it doesn't have it on the label.
Yeah.
Double fermented. Yeah.
I promote it. I think my boxes. Yeah, I actually put it in my boxes because I know I'm sure some of them do, but don't really maybe talk about it. Yeah, but we put handcrafted by artisan rollers using the finest rare double fermented tobacco.
Yeah. So, I mean,
It's a
obviously
thing.
that's something I'm going to look for from now on.
Yeah.
So,
It's like any other kind of craft thing. You can really be a nerd about it if you
Yeah.
want to.
You can be.
Like bourbon. You know,
Yeah, you
it's-
really can be.
pizza. We were
Pizza.
talking about that earlier.
Yeah, pizza,
Yeah.
fried chicken,
All kinds of
biscuits,
things.
whatever.
Yeah.
You can.
No, but it's just like I said, you could have, me, producer Brian, take a leaf. We have the same processes of it, but then just one little tweak, and it's just totally
It's
different.
like a
all.
chef. It's like being a
Yeah.
chef.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's just I just find that fascinating in, how people can have ideas of what, we probably could all smoke the same cigar and we'll all have 4 different profiles.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Exactly.
it's just our
Palate.
taste. Yeah, our palates and taste buds are so subjective to us and our individual and our experiences. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I find it interesting. I find it intriguing. And, not only promoting the small business aspect, but, for years I smoked the Paradagos number 8, I think is what I smoked, for years. And, then you start branching out into other things. You find out, man, there's a wide open world of unique experiences out there.
Yeah.
And, when we initially met Leon and finding out some intricacies with his stuff, and then talking to Angel with the NC Cigar Club, and just finding out things like that. It's just such a cool little thing. Not to mention the community aspect of it, because I know these guys support each other, but just the flavor profiles, but also just the small business aspect. There's just so many cool factors, and that's the reason why I'm glad to have him on today too. So,
what are some of the major roadblocks that you had to hurdle over to make this process and make this business happen?
It's a great question.
Government.
Yeah, government, taxes, licensing. Then you have people that are close to you that think they know what they're talking about and say, what are you doing? What are you thinking? You're wasting your time and money. You got to have this. You got to have that. I literally started the business with I don't know, $500.
Wow.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy cow.
I had no capital, nothing.
And you just hustled.
Just hustled. I'm I have nothing. I was doing this out of my house. So you don't have, I'm I don't need it. Really. Okay. I did it out of, I call it a labor of love.
Mm-hmm.
Did it for 4 years without taking any money from the business. But every money I made, I just put it back in.
Yeah.
Kept rolling it.
Yeah. I mean, I sell 100 cigars. Whatever you profit, buy more tobacco.
Yeah.
Sell 200 cigars, buy more tobacco. Business cards, whatever.
Yeah.
That was the hardest part. I mean, there's tobacco in North Carolina is a little hard. There's high taxes. That was always tough. The other hurdle is, I wanted to be local, of course. I've been a Durham, local, Raleigh, North Carolina brand. But my mindset has always been to expand, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed in this industry, it's changing now. But in the beginning, nobody wanted to give me a chance. They're like, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows who you are. I'm yeah, I know. That's why I'm talking to you. So you could talk to somebody else and put my cigars in your shop. So then people will know about it because I believe in my product. That's still a challenge. But let's see, this brand, my first brand was Bull City Cigar Company. I rebranded to Amendola because I couldn't take Bull City Cigar, the name. It wasn't selling outside of Durham. So I changed it to my last name. And as soon as I did that, then people started calling me. Just from social media stuff. And they're like,
Did they have you confused with Danny Amendola?
Oh, all the time.
See, there you go.
All the time.
There you go.
So I feed off that.
Yeah.
It's part of my pitch.
So welcome to the Justin Bieber podcast.
So just put his number on the box and you'll be set.
Yeah.
Well, he buys our cigars.
Oh, does he really?
Well, his aunt. So she called me one day.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
It's going to him.
Yeah.
She called me. She's like, I'm in Amendola. I'm like, oh, really? It's great. She's like, yeah, I'm Danny Amendola's aunt, and I want to get him cigars for opening game last year. I'm like, great. So I gave her a box. I signed it and everything, and wished him a good year. Haven't heard anything, but
Sure. It's like the time when I was living in Kentucky, and the governor was Paul Patton, and I got pulled over by the police, and they said, "What are you doing here in Kentucky?" Because I had a Florida driver's license. I said, "I'm here to visit my Uncle Paul." But he was actually the pastor of the church. Paul Patton, another Paul Patton, was the pastor of the church down the street. Didn't quite get out of it. But, I tried to pretend like I was related to the governor.
So that it happens a lot when I go do events. Everyone comes up to me. They see the name. Mm-hmm. Oh, you related? Then, I tell them this whole thing.
Yeah.
But I was in, my family lives in Boston right now, North Boston. So I was up there visiting them, and they're like, this is when he was telling the Patriots. New England people are like hardcore about everything New England. Like this. So I was in, we ordered food. I went to go pick it up, some pizzeria. I gave him my name. And as I was leaving, some guy in the back of the line was like, tell Danny we're praying for him. I'm like, yeah, all right.
That's who this pizza's for.
Yeah. But, roadblocks really, we're initially just finding tobacco. Mm-hmm. Because, again, this industry is very tight-knit and old school still. Mm. So if you don't know anybody or they don't really, you have to be in or somehow find your way. And that was a challenge, getting all the equipment. And I actually got a lot of my rolling equipment from an old factory in New York, Martinez Cigars. Yeah, he's great, man. They've been in business since like the 70s. And it is the shop. It's in Manhattan. It's literally the size of the room we're in, maybe a little more narrow. 5 rollers, a counter, 2 chairs, and it's line out the door all day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. By the way, our room's probably, 30 by 12 maybe?
Yeah. It's literally the size of this.
That, yeah. I'd say 20 by 10.
Yeah. So
we're in a storage container outside of Home Depot right now.
That's how I feel.
The acoustics are awesome.
He basically, he gave me the chavetas, like the knives we used to cut the tobacco, cutting boards, the machine cutters that we measure the cigars with, and molds. Molds are hard, like when you roll them to get the right size and the consistency. He gave me all those old wooden molds. So that, that was challenging to find. You can't just go buy them,
Did he give them to you and be like, hey, tell Danny we're praying for him?
Yeah. Yeah, I use that now for everything. Yeah. It's great. But
so the double fermenting is one thing that sets you apart. Is there, like, you have different kinds. I'm just looking at all the things you brought. You've got different flavors, different kinds.
Yeah. So a couple things set us apart. The other cool thing right now, aside from like the cigar itself, we do everything in-house. So our boxes, the label, the plastic, that's the cellophane, everything is done under the same roof. So we have complete control of everything. That's unique. It's rare to have that. A lot of companies will buy boxes from here, plastic from here, labels from here, ship it all over the place. We actually have a great partnership with Gabby Caffey, Tabacalera Caffey in Honduras. It's all under same roof. That's cool. And then I pretty much do all the blending myself. And we have 3, our core line is 3 blends. Connecticut, which is very mild. It has Honduran tobacco in it. Dominican and Nicaragua. That's our mildest cigar. It's kind of creamy. We have a Habano 2000, which is the blue label. This is great. It's Cuban seed. Nicaraguan filler.
By the way, you looked at that thing like I look at my wife.
Yeah. I love you. It's delicious. I wish we could smoke in here. And then our Habano Maduro, which is our regular Maduro, that's Cuban seed as well, grown in Ecuador, and it's all Dominican tobacco. That's our core line. But what I did, and the guys in the factory, I think they hate me for it, but I made 3 signature blends. And
Okay.
it confuses. Why can't you just have
Just one?
Yeah, but I wanted to make it like really special. So one of them is actually called the Amendola Special. That's something I want to smoke all the time. Has a dark Oscuro Maduro wrapper, aged Nicaraguan filler and binders. It looks like it's going to be strong and heavy, but you light it, and off the bat, it's like, this is light. This is smooth. This is rich. Wow. Crazy. Then the Padrino, which is the guys in the factory made custom molds for me. So it has, have you heard of a chisel cigar? Chisel tip? There's 1 or 2 companies that use that name.
Does it look like the chisel?
Yeah. So like the head where you would puff out of
Yeah.
is
Tapered down.
like real thin.
Okay, yeah.
I've seen those.
Yeah. So we have one, I call it the wedge, because it's not a chisel. It's more like it's a wedge. And it's very unique size. Has a dark Sumatra wrapper. It's very coffee-esque. It's really delicious. And then what we call the cannoli now.
Holy cannoli.
Holy cannoli. This is crazy. It's awesome. It's a small, petite box press.
Is that like a box press?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I love it.
Something I never thought I would like. But
Yeah, I was always skeptical.
Yeah, but I've kind of gotten into that box press with a wedge cut on it.
I
dig it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we kind of, the 3 signatures. We have our main line and hopefully something new coming soon.
Oh, you're not gonna drop.
Actually, I have one. I would have brought you guys some, but ironically, it's one of our best sellers. It's called Dessert.
Ooh, come on now! Now you're talking.
I know.
The big boy here.
Oh, we call them crack sticks. Seriously, it's a thing. We put them in jars because you can't, if you set them out, everything smells like it. It tastes like it's hazelnut. It's dipped in sugar.
Oh wow!
Oh come on!
Yeah, it tastes like
it's like smoking diabetes.
It's seriously
brought to you by Wilford Brimley.
It tastes like hazelnut coffee cake dipped in sugar.
Now I'm hungry.
I know.
Dadgum.
I'm telling you right now, just that descriptor right there. There's people out there that have probably been listening, powering through this podcast, who do not like the smell of smoke. Do not want to pick up the bad habit of smoking cigars. So not that it's really a habit, and all of a sudden he rolls out this toasted hazelnut profile.
Sugar,
I get them every time. No,
and they're like, man, I'm kind of interested now.
No, I'm in it. I'm in
at the events. Sometimes there's some people out there walk by and like lift their noses up at us, like, smoke. Yeah. I say, no, come over here, smell this. I open the jar. Oh, that smells delicious. Let me get 3.
Yeah.
Told you. Got him.
Wow. It's just, like I said, it's amazing that you can add that kind of flavor profile onto a
right.
something you're smoking.
So for the record, now I'm going to go home and all my cigars, I'm going to roll them in sugar. So appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Is this cigar keto? That's all. That's my one.
It's gluten-free.
Gluten-free. No peanut allergies, guys.
It actually... I think I found, it's a secret, but
it's just us. Nobody's listening.
Nobody's going to listen to this.
It's just between you and I.
No, I found a sugar that you just got to.
Okay. All right.
We can't because you're almost sold out.
No, we are.
So for the novice, everybody is like, oh, the Cuban cigars. It's the Cuban. I need the Cuban. I want the Cuban. Break it down.
Overrated,
isn't it? Overrated.
I think my opinion is at one time they were producing some of the best cigars at the time. Spain was actually the first country to roll the cigars we know it today.
Okay.
They brought, well, a lot of the Spaniards went to Cuba, whatever, and brought it there, and that's where all the factories started popping up. I think at that time, the quality of their tobacco, the blending, the profile was awesome. After Castro took over, it's communist. They treat their people horribly. All the farmers fled because they were getting killed or farms were burned. The good farmers went to DR, Nicaragua, Honduras, Brazil, Costa Rica. Whatever was left was all government run.
Mhm.
They're not getting enough fertilizer for the fields.
Mhm.
I heard at one point Castro was tearing down the tobacco fields and growing sugarcane instead, which was a big failure. And now they're trying to pump out all these cigars, European market, Asian market, Canadian market, high demand for Cuban cigars. But I talked to a distributor. I went to a trade show in Germany last year. I got to go and display product with Cafe and one of the distribution companies. So we're meeting distributors from all over the world. And we talked to somebody from the Middle East, and they're like, yeah, we're getting ready to drop all of our Cuban brands because some come in boxes of 10, and they say 2 out of 10 smoke good, and the rest, consumers are complaining. It's not consistent.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Like, you might get a good Cuban cigar every now and then. You know, I mean, you probably will. Like, I'm not going to say they're all horrible.
Right.
They're good, but they're not consistent.
When they're good, they're good.
When they're good, they're good.
Yeah.
They're not consistent. And are they the best cigars? Is this like, when I think of smoking cigars, do I need to have a Cuban cigar? No, not at all.
Not at all.
Oh my God, no. Like, no. I would put these up against any Cuban. I would put a lot of the other brands I love from Nicaragua, Dominican Republic. I mean, the tobacco is, and I think as well, I don't know if this is 100% true, but I believe that Cuba is buying tobacco from Nicaragua and Dominican Republic because they can't produce enough.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can I take 30 seconds and just take off on a tangent for a second? Is that
Go
okay?
for it.
All right.
Do I need to time it?
So just
Yes.
feeding off this Castro thing. What happened when Castro took over was, and this is a natural progression of communism.
Yeah.
When they took over, you had these great farms and great producers of cigars who were experts in their field, from the ground level. The guys who actually did the agricultural part, the guys who actually managed the factories and had all the rollers, to the guys who did the blending, the guys who did the warehousing. Well, when Castro took over into, basically the government owns the labor of the people.
Yes.
He did favors. Hey, here's Uncle Pedro over here. He doesn't know how to till dirt or plant a seed or water, but we're trying to be equal here. He's now the production manager of agriculture. And the same thing has happened in Venezuela, Russia, before, the Soviet Union, whatever. I mean, this is a natural progression of communism, cronyism, and what it does, it affects the brands that the things they're naturally great at.
Yeah. And I heard that, like, one of the big things about Cuba was just they had really good soil to grow there. And that's really kind of the thing that set it apart.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think Nicaragua has great soil. I think DR. I mean,
also Cuba has this innate ability to avoid hurricanes.
Right?
Like, yeah. Have you ever seen that? Like,
no, I never
Yeah.
paid attention to that.
Yeah, we're in hurricane.
right.
We're in
Yeah.
hurricane season right
They're
now.
going to hit Cuba.
Now, of course, it's going to, it's going to, change up this year. But Cuba still has the same crap holes of buildings that they had prior to Castro taking over. They're still standing. But you have, our own, affiliate of this country, Puerto Rico, which
Getting crushed
just
right,
seems
right
to
now.
get hit every time. And we have modern buildings there. But
You would think they would just move out.
well, according to I think it's what
Pick up this island and
I
move.
think it was Senator Hank Johnson who actually said that the islands float and could tip over. Maybe we could actually, under his theory, we could actually put some motorboats or some engines on the end of the island, just push it out of the way. Yeah. I don't know. So, yeah,
I don't know. I think it really comes down to blending, like putting it all together, and the farming.
Yeah.
Resources.
Yeah, I mean, sun, water,
Fertilizer.
soil.
Yeah.
That's your three basic components and also having a great quality seed. I would, the rest of it's just basically nature that's doing its work. I mean,
I did hear, and I haven't been to Cuba, so I don't know, and I probably would agree. If you go there and you get a cigar from like not a main factory, like not Cohiba, not whatever. you go to like some of the guys that live in the country that are rolling at their house or off the beaten path,
The black market economy.
the
there.
black market, I feel like you might get a really good cigar
Probably so, yeah.
by doing that,
Probably so.
because it's not supervised, it's not controlled.
Well, these guys are also making money on the side to
Yeah.
supplement the income that they don't get.
Mhm.
Exactly.
You know, there's a huge black market in Cuba right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're getting, they're pulling leaves off their plants, whatever, doing their own thing. I feel like that is what I would want to smoke
Oh, yeah.
if I
Absolutely.
went to Cuba.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
That's true with anything that you do. You go
Pretty much.
to a new town and pick a town on the map.
You don't eat at McDonald's. You go
Yeah,
find
you-
that hole in the wall
You
like
go,
nasty
yeah,
place.
you go to a tourist trap. You're like, I want to go where the locals go,
Mhm.
and then they send you to like some halfway / local tourist bar, and you're like, no, I really
Yeah,
want to
nah.
go to the local bar.
That's
Right.
exactly what
Right.
it
Yeah,
is.
so
Same concept.
yeah, you got to go to that. You got to go to that tobacco farmer who probably
Yep.
stole leaves off the Cohiba
Mhm.
plantation or whatever, and brought them back to his house, and he did his own thing. You
Yep.
know,
He
I
didn't
just hope he
skimp.
didn't put it down his pants. to get
No,
it
no,
out
he's
there.
rubbing the Popeyes chicken spices all over the
Oh.
leaves, and bam, you're like, wow,
Man, I love
Covered
that
in
sandwich.
sweat.
Yeah.
You know?
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to think about
From
it.
under cheese.
Don't tell me how you do it.
Yeah. he's wearing tobacco diapers out every day.
Oh,
Gross.
But it's a great smoke.
Triple fermented. How's that work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs to be fermented. Mm.
And that's the end of this podcast.
I'm out.
Where can people find your cigars? Where can they get them?
So we're in about 7 states. North Carolina and South Carolina the most. Raleigh, Durham, Winston, Greensboro, Charlotte. South Carolina, we just started popping up. Fort Mill, Stogie
Okay.
and Brew. Where are we? We're in Concord.
Yeah.
North Charlotte.
hmm
Yeah, so Charlotte, we just opened up accounts we're at Charlotte Cigar Club.
Okay.
We're at
That's in Uptown, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
hmm
We're at Aroma Cigars on Monroe Road. 105 Cigar Company, I think they're in Matthews. Gold Leaf Cigars in Mooresville.
Oh,
That's a-
okay.
that's a great spot.
right by you.
And then Stogie and Brew in Fort Mill. And then Raleigh, we have I call it one of our premier stores in Raleigh. They have our whole line. Durham. My old shop, they carry our whole line there. Chapel Hill, that area.
Mhm.
New York, we're opening up a bunch of accounts in New York.
Nice.
We're doing the Italian American Club dinner in October.
Oh, nice.
Yep. We've been, so what I did with my label, my grandparents were immigrants from Italy. So I put the Italian flag on the back
Okay.
to show,
Yeah.
to pay homage, They came to America with nothing. They hustled. They started their own businesses. That
Wow.
always inspired me.
Yeah.
And so we've been getting a lot of attention from the Italian American clubs, and a lot from the Smoke and Shields. I don't know if you heard of that. It's a law enforcement,
Law enforcement.
cigar group.
Okay.
Started in New York, and they have chapters all over. But we're working a little bit with them on some of their stuff. So yeah, New York, have a few in PA. Ironically, Oklahoma City. Omerta Cigar Company, get a lot of love from them out there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They love the brand, so I love them. They're great. Texas, Florida. We just started opening up some in Florida.
Where in Texas?
Houston.
Okay.
There's one in Dallas, 2 stores in Houston. Where else? That's it. Yeah, this year, this has been an interesting year. But October will be really good for us up north.
Okay.
We're doing 5. I'm doing a cigar tour in New York and Connecticut. Hopefully, we'll open up 5 to 7 new accounts there.
Nice.
And then we've been in contact with some of the bigger online companies, distributors. We'll see what happens.
Very cool.
So
Do you have to drink a Sambuca at the Italian American dinner club?
absolutely,
Okay.
and eat cannolis.
All right. Smoke a cannoli, eat a cannoli.
I'm more excited about the food we're gonna eat.
Yeah,
Sure.
no
You know
doubt.
what I mean?
No
I mean,
doubt.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you have a
Wow.
website
I
you
can't
can
wait.
buy from?
Yes. Oh yeah. Thank you. Thank you for
we have some international listeners.
thank you for
Yeah.
mentioning that. So our regular website it's been informational for the most part. It's where we book our rolling events. You could hire me to roll cigars at your function.
Wow.
We
I think I might have the neighborhood 16-year-old kid.
It's my competition.
Tough.
Yeah, but now we have an e-commerce site. So the e-commerce site is amendolacigar.com. AMENDOLA cigar.com. You buy boxes. We're doing some sample packs. That's some sample packs up there right now. Actually, whoever's listening, if you do go to our website and at checkout put in free ship, you will save 10%.
All right.
Nice.
So get a sample pack. It has our main lines and my signature blend in there, and everything else pretty much.
All right. So Tori, if you're listening in Holland right now, we're going to make you the official, unofficial Amendola ambassador.
Holland, yeah.
Free shipping to Holland? Is that
Yep.
$47.50.
We do now.
We do now.
Hey, put in free shipping if you're in Holland or in the European Union, and you actually get shipping at full cost. So there we go.
And a Tesla. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah. We actually just talked to, I was live on Instagram yesterday, and I met a shop in Sweden.
Yeah.
Last year when I was in Germany, and they want me to come out there and roll cigars.
Nice.
So we're trying to do some. I don't think I could go back this year. Kathy will go and represent. The other cool thing that I'm a part of that he started. Have you heard of Kathy 1901?
I've heard the name.
Okay, so he has his own line. He's the owner of our factory.
Okay,
that's who I partnered with. He developed the Boutique Cigar Association, BCA. Which is basically a platform for all brands like me that are, starting out, trying to get a foot in the door, getting that recognition. We could all stick together and, fight. We have to fight FDA laws. We have all these some restrictions that we're not all of us are properly funded correctly to just dump money out there. And so it's a great network of boutique brands. There's about 25 or 30, I think, right now. And we're working on putting together our own cigar festivals. That'll be all boutique brands, which would be nice.
Yeah, that's kind of the natural progression. Anytime you get something like this going on, it's good for you guys to group together for lobbyists because
got to
look. I mean, the feds. I mean, this has been. I remember, man. Probably back in. I was in college. Probably. Or just got kicked out of college. I was probably actually riding home.
You got kicked out too?
Yeah, I went to seminary, and they kicked me out. So I was probably riding home from college after being kicked out, and I was listening to Rush Limbaugh, and
which everyone should do. Yeah,
back in probably this is probably 96, and they were talking about. This sticks in my head. It's always stuck in my head. So 96, the feds have quite often have tried to implement a cigar tax. A federal cigar tax where, I mean, it makes smoking a $10 stick impossible. I mean, some of them have been as high as $25 tax per stick.
Oh,
so,
yeah, no, there's some New York.
Yeah. Oh, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Yeah. In New York, I mean,
what is it? At one point, it was almost 70%.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I know the last
California.
The last time I was in New York in Manhattan, I don't smoke cigarettes, but Marlboro Reds were $14 for a pack. Cow. Yeah,
crazy. Yeah. California's bad too. North Carolina with state and federal, it's about 22%.
22%.
Or 21.8.
So it was 22%. For North Carolina.
It's like 21.8. I think it's OTP, it's like other tobacco product tax is 12.8.
Wow.
And then whatever the regular, and then there's another one.
So why are they going after the cigars?
You know what?
It just doesn't make any sense, does it?
It doesn't make any sense. You're trying to regulate a product that is an artisan craft, right? Taxes you're making it so hard for like these people that are creating this product. I don't understand. And then the FDA too.
Yeah.
They're coming after the premium cigar industry, wanting it to be regulated, undergo testing. How do you test this?
Oh,
This is a leaf.
Yeah.
They're leaves.
Making sure there's nothing in there that could.
But you can't. Cigarettes, I can understand.
Right.
Because those have other material in them. That's not tobacco.
Yeah.
This is 100% tobacco.
But you could, in essence, put something else in there, right?
Not premium cigar. I mean, the machine-made ones.
Yeah.
No,
Gotcha.
but like, no. I mean, really, if this industry that they make, they're not going to put anything in there.
Yeah.
The machine-made cigar, the ones that are in gas stations, yes. Some of them aren't even tobacco. They add other things in them.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm not saying Black and Miles,
You're
but
saying a Black and Mild
Yes.
isn't just a leaf?
It's a whole bunch of things.
I thought it was just cardboard, flavored cardboard.
Well, that too.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they're doing the vaping,
Yeah. They're going after that.
and that's fine, whatever. I just don't understand how you could go after this when it is literally if they have you ever seen a cigar factory, like how it's no we gotta take
We
a
should
tour.
go.
We
Yeah.
gotta go to Honduras.
Oh man,
That'd be great.
That
We'll do a
would-
live podcast.
that would be insane.
Patreon.com/
SMP Radio.
Yeah,
Help
support.
us pay
yes.
for this to
You
happen.
know you want to hear it, so let's do it.
No, I mean, this is like literally it's leaves.
Yeah.
It's just leaves. It's an artisan craft. You're putting together something. It's therapeutic. It's medicinal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Speaking of those things, like, is there going to be the trend of CBD and trying to get CBD infused cigars?
Well, they have them.
They do, but is that going to take off? Is that even
I
going
don't know.
Is that even like
See, I'm weird.
functionally? How does it even work?
I don't know.
I
I'm
mean,
weird.
yeah.
Like for me, that would be a whole separate thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to smoke CBD, I'm going to do it a different way.
Sure.
I don't want to put it in my cigar.
Yeah.
When I think of a cigar, I think of the pure form of tobacco,
Mhm.
what it is. If I want to smoke CBD, marijuana, whatever,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do that
Right.
on its own.
But you've got those husbands that are going to say, "Hey, honey, I'm going to go get my CBD on the back porch," and she would yell at him for smoking a cigar. But now it's
Right.
healthy. It's a healthy
Now it's
thing.
yeah.
So this is my CBD
It could
cigar.
be a thing. I mean, I haven't tried one yet. I saw the couple people that
Mhm.
have done it said it was great.
Yeah.
One said it tasted horrible, but
Yeah, I would
They
think
felt
that
it.
it would be awful.
it had like a weird taste. And see, that's what I'm afraid of. Like, I don't want to
Ruin the product.
ruin the. If it's done correctly, maybe
Yeah.
I would try it. I would hate to ruin it and then it'd be like, why?
If you wanted to start a batch, like just to try, like
Yeah.
even if you're trying a different blend or whatever, what's the minimum that you have to produce and send out, or at least have your?
So in the factory, I mean, we produce 5,000 at a time.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Holy cow! So that's small batch is 5,000.
For me, it is.
Oh my god!
Wow. So if you're like doing testing a new blend or something, is there? I mean, what is there?
Well, yeah. So if I want to test something, I just do it at my house.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
just do
Because
one or two.
I know how
or-
to do it.
Okay,
When we're ready to do full on production, we're doing 5,000.
oh wow.
Some factories are doing 10,000, 20,000. But I'm still small. So
What's the go time from the time that leaf is ready to go till it's wrapped up in your boxes
right.
pushed out?
So, all right. So the tobacco itself is aged for about 3 to 5 years.
Holy cow! I didn't realize that.
2 to 5, 3 to 5,
Mhm.
traditionally. Wrappers can be a little bit longer. So there's that. When we do the actual rolling in the factory, like the production,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be rolled, and then we're going to age them for 6 weeks in the aging room. Then they're going to get banded, packaged, boxed, and sent to us. So really, I mean, the aging,
Yeah,
that's a couple years,
yeah.
and then the rolling, and then 6 weeks.
Mm. Yeah, it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
You gotta wait, and again, like bourbon, where you've got to wait and
Yeah, you got to wait.
and just
It's an
see what
aging process. Like the 6 weeks really lets the tobacco dry,
Mhm.
lets it kind of rest, evolve, all the flavors come out, and they're smokable. I mean, you can smoke them. I love smoking a fresh hand rolled cigar.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't. They say, "Oh, you got to let it sit." Like you don't have to.
yeah,
You want to.
right,
You can smoke it; it'll be fine.
yeah.
It'll just taste different.
What's the taste difference? Like, what's the?
I think, like when I roll at events,
Mhm.
I mean the tobacco's aged already.
Mhm.
We're not rolling them like. I kind of make it so you can smoke it right away. It's not going to be a problem. The only issue would be they might be a little damp, so you have to relight.
Got it.
But I get this just like a fresh, very. It's for me. It's a little more aromatic sometimes. Like you just get not more aromatic, a different aromatic. Yeah, and it's just like this. Wow, this is like I just touched this leaf. I just put it on a cigar and I'm smoking it. It's more of that experience of like,
Yeah,
we just made this. It's awesome.
that's cool.
This is cool. Yeah. And then when you do age it, you can see how it evolves a little bit. And if you like that better, you don't, whatever. Everyone's different, you know?
Yeah.
But when in the factory, I think it's very important 4 to 6 weeks because the tobacco's still wet. You know, we're doing a lot. And then once that's important. But the events I do, you smoke them right away.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's great.
Cool, man. Well, Jeff, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you
for
so
having me.
much. Wow. I learned so much, and hopefully our listeners did too. But they can
Yes.
check it out at AmendolaCigars.com.
Amendola Cigar.
Cigar.
AmendolaCigar.com. That's our e-commerce site. It does have all our info on there as well.
Okay.
Sample packs, boxes, 4 packs.
Very
Check
cool.
it out.
Yeah.
And social media too.
Yeah.
Please, if you're on Instagram, Facebook, follow us. I love to interact with people, so and talk about cigars. So hit us up, Amendola Family Cigars on Instagram and Facebook.
All right. And we'll have all of those links out there on our show notes.
Yeah, cool.
So when you pull it up while you're listening to this episode, scroll down and check out our show notes, and you can click on those links while you listen.
Awesome. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thank you, sir. Hey, guys, Brandon had to step out for a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. Again, make sure you follow and subscribe to our episodes, again, on iTunes, anywhere, Google Play, anywhere you listen to podcasts, do that. Also, check out our friends at Podcoin. If you want to listen and get paid while you listen to podcasts, do that there. Thanks again for Jeffrey to come on the show and help us learn about cigars. That was fantastic. Guys, again, thank you so much for tuning in to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. As always, keep looking up.